those of you who know the definition of irony are probably chuckling a little bit to yourselves. But obesity is a parentheses overeat, and it's actually, the definition itself is when you have a sufficient amount of fat on your body that is actually starting to impede your health and starting to damage your health. And so, there we go. Okay, so what is obesity technically though? If you look, the quick and easiest system for classifying obesity is called the body mass index. And you'll notice, and this is scientific, I apologize, it's kilograms per meter squared, so it's a measure of weight depending on your volume, so it's irrespective of your actual size. And so you see here the classifications, anything under 18.5 kilograms is underweight, 18.5 to 24.9, normal weight, so on and so forth. The table isn't 100% accurate though, especially in some races other than Europeans, especially in Asia. The weights are a little bit different, either weight up or down as far as the healthy ranges go, but this is a pretty good way to tell. And so we have three different classes of obesity. We have three different classes of obesity. You have class 1 obesity, which I like to hope that I'm in. And class 1 obesity is pretty much when you are overweight, it's unhealthy, but it's not affecting you immediately. Class 2 obesity is when you're really starting to get some more serious symptoms. Probably me about a year ago, I lost about 70 pounds since last April, so working on it. Hopefully I can get that to kids by the end of summer. And class 3 obesity, that's when you have got enough fat and mass in your system that is actually causing real immediate damage to your system. And then it goes on, they even have that 45 and above, what's called super obesity. And that's the people that you see that have to be crazy in and out of their house. It's a really serious issue. So, yeah?
Sorry, what's the formula for BMI? Do you remember it, like off the top of your head?
No, the only time I've ever done it has been through one of those really fun kind of calculator things, so I don't know the actual formula.
Dr. Oz has a good formula. Dr. Oz has a formula for everything. He says that you're overweight if your height divided by 2 should be what your waistline is. So if you're 60 inches, you know, if you're 60 inches tall, then your waistline should be 30. So you just.
And that's I'm going to talk about that later. Healthy
Okay.
at any weight. From there. But anyway, so there's a bunch of things that cause obesity, and these top two are actually the main culprits. No matter what else may be the cause behind it, it is always going to be your diet or your intake in calories and your lifestyle, meaning your activity level or your output in calories. Those are always going to be what causes obesity. There may be things behind that, but those are the things that cause. There are some people that say that it might be people with really slow metabolisms, but on the whole they found that that isn't true. There's nobody with a metabolism slow enough to cause obesity. It really is just that. And of course there are things behind it though. Genetics. Certain people are genetically predisposed to being fat. What it is we have hormones that our stomach uses to tell our brain when we need to eat and when we need to stop eating. So when our stomach has started to get really small, it releases the hormone that says, okay, go find food. But when it starts to stretch, it releases the hormone that says, okay, you're done, you can stop eating now. In some people, though, they actually have a tolerance to that hormone that makes it so their brain doesn't recognize that they need to stop eating. Illness, both physical and mental illnesses, can also lead to weight gain. As was mentioned before with some of the other eating disorders, it is not uncommon for psychological issues in the home to become a cause for obesity, or even emulation. That's not really covered by this. That was the reason I... Yes?
Oh, no, you can finish. I was just going to say, along with that, like, a lot of the reason we see disabled people that are overweight, like mentally disabled people, that have maybe autism or Williams syndrome or Down syndrome, they get congestive heart failure and usually die around between 30 to 50 years old because they have nothing else but eating because their brain doesn't recognize they need to stop. So that causes a lot more disease.
And that's going along with that. I actually knew, my brother knows this guy. He very healthy. He was 200 pounds. He was a very solid build. And very healthy man. Had a lot of problems with his heart. Ended up going into the hospital. And he was there in the hospital for 2 weeks. Almost died. And they had to pump so many steroids in him to keep alive. By the time he left the hospital, he was 350 pounds. So, yeah, the physical illnesses can also cause that weight gain, just because of forced inactivity and no decrease in calories. In fact, that was the linear story we just saw, where she stopped swimming, but she still has the same intake of calories. And so that can cause it too. And the last one is social environment, which is really the kind of thing you grew up with. As I was saying, I'm glad you interrupted me because I was going to say this at the wrong time. But growing up, my dad ate a lot of food because he worked construction a lot. And I ate a lot of food, even though I didn't work construction with him. And then even when I did work with him, we still ate way too much for what we were doing. I mean, we'd go out and we'd work brick, which is really hard work when you've done it, but that doesn't justify coming home and eating a whole rack of ribs by yourself. I've never done that, but at a time in my life I would have found that very appealing. But there's more than just that. There's more than just the influences of your parents. It's also the kind of society you're raised in can cause it. That's what talks about comfort food. And it comes back to that. And I actually have a couple of clips about soul food, which are foods that are cooked in. So, the first one here is a man cooking a meal, a Sunday dinner. Basically, the story is this. It's a man who starts cooking Sunday dinners in a very unhealthy way, and a rich friend of his offers him a restaurant. But you just look at some of the food he prepares.
Right, get the door.
Granddad, is this the broccoli I bought at the store today?
Yep, I cooked it up for you.
Oh, you cooked it with a ham.
It's pork-flavored broccoli.
Granddad, there's more pork in the pork-flavored broccoli than there is broccoli. We talked about this. Vegetables cooked with pork counts as pork.
Hey, do I smell pork-flavored broccoli?
Hey, everyone.
And then when he gets to his restaurant, this is the burger he decides he's going to make. It's going to be his big attraction.
I present to you the Luther, a full-pound burger patty covered in cheese, grilled onion, 5 strips of bacon, all sandwiched between
2 donuts.
2 Krispy Kreme donuts. It's called the Luther because it was supposed to have been invented by Mr. Luther Vandross himself.
Luther Vandross is dead.
And what's your point?
Is this one of your menus? Sausage and waffle and fried chicken breakfast lasagna.
Yep.
Bacon-wrapped chitlin stuffed catfish. Granddad, you can't serve this kind of food to people. It'll cause death. Whoa, this is what crack must feel
So
like.
finally we kind of see why he actually starts cooking this food. And this
What
is
did you
like,
tell him? What's behind your back? Elijah Muhammad's How to Eat to Live. I knew it. Just what joy do you get out of trying to crush all of my dreams, Huey? Do you know how long I wanted to own my own restaurant?
3 weeks at Sunday dinner. That was the first time you mentioned it. And you only started doing the stupid Sunday dinner thing because you saw soul food on cable. We're gonna pause this for the benefit of all y'all who never saw Soul Food. Soul Food is a movie about a big, humongous black grandmother, aptly named Big Mama. Big Mama demonstrates her love by feeding herself and her offspring enormous amounts of pig lard. Then, get this, Big Mama's arteries are so clogged, they gotta amputate her arm.
It was her leg.
Right, okay, whatever, leg. Then, she dies of a heart attack. Or another stroke, or something.
God called her home.
And what does the family do after she dies? They get together for a Sunday dinner and eat the same food that just killed Big Mama. The same food! They didn't learn a lesson. Nobody went on a diet, and that's the end of the movie.